family, 1st Tank Battalion, I am so honored that you gave me the privilege of celebrating with you tonight. That I got to celebrate this birthday with the Marines of the 1st Tank Battalion. So tonight, yeah, that's right, I like motivation. Feel free to fire out those hoorahs at any time. So tonight, we're going to talk about what binds us together. General Lejeune knew it, he put in his message that we still read to this day. The current commandant talked about it. Warrior spirit. Warrior spirit. And it's a general term. What the heck does that mean? Courage, honor, commitment, semper fidelis, always faithful, God, country, corps. What does that mean? When I got out to the Fleet Marine Force, the first corporal I worked for was a fellow named Corporal Ascaris. And he used to lay this down to me. He used to say, he was a gunner on the 1st tank I was assigned to. He said, core values, Semper Fi, that's easy out here in the middle of Camp Pendleton on a sunshiny day. Anybody can do it then. The real deal guy is that one at 0400, when you're cold, tired, wet, wounded, up against the wall. That one who believes it then, who has it then, that's the real deal guy. That's who you want to be as a Marine. So I go, okay, this warrior spirit will get you through the tough things. I knew that. I learned it in boot camp, and I wasn't really sure how. When I was at boot camp, because I'd never met a real life Marine before my recruiter. And when I was there in recruit training, my drill instructor, Gunnery Sergeant, or he was a drill, staff sergeant at the time, Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Nichols, he used to tell us about Marines. He would talk about those things we celebrate tonight. He would talk about Bella Wood, he would talk about Iwo Jima, Tarawa, he would talk about these places, but he had this strange way of talking about it. He would talk about it in terms of the Marines who were there, what they did. Like when they talked about Bella Woods, he would tell us in terms of what happened before that. When the French were being massacred, they were being run out of the woods up from those German machine guns, and Captain Lloyd Williams, United States Marine Corps, said, retreat hell, we just got here. And Gunnery Sergeant Dan Daly led them into that open field, those German machine guns, to the charge of, come on, you sons of bitches, you want to live forever, with such ferocity. With such ferocity, routed the Germans out the other side, gaining us that name, Tuvalunen, to this day. He would talk about, on the Korean Peninsula, stopping the spread of that communism on that Korean Peninsula, at the Chosin Reservoir. Colonel Chesty Bullard, surrounded by 200,000 Chinese communists, said, Marines, hey, we got them right where we want them. We can shoot any direction and hit the enemy. I run! So he would talk about this in terms of the Marines, what they did. And he had this strange way of telling it to us, because normally he didn't even speak to us as we were human. But on this one he did. He would walk the impact area and he would tell us these things. He would say, hey, you weren't just cursed. These guys weren't born with some character skill set that you would never have. This is Marine warrior spirit. This is Semper Fi. If you do the things you're taught here, if you learn this creed, if you live this creed, you will not only walk amongst these giants, you'll be one of them someday. And all right. So then that added this second part to me. Okay, you need this when the chips are down, and it is trainable. It's learnable. It's trainable. But how the heck was it trained? If you were to ask Marines in general, how did you learn courage, honor, commitment? Most Marines really can't tell you. They just know they learned it, but they really don't know how. And it wasn't until I would become a drill instructor later myself that I kind of saw the curtain peeled back on this, how it's initially taught to recruits and ultimately reinforced throughout our entire time. And we do it so instinctively later that we really don't even think about it. How is commitment learned? It's learned through failure. It's learned through failure, so constant, so beat down, so all the time to test, will you ever quit? And we weed out the ones that will quit, get rid of them. And we find the ones that just refuse to quit. How is honor learned? It's learned through unfairness. You are constantly punished for other people's mistakes. When we first learn this stuff, you are constantly set up. You're constantly given a harder mission than our sister services. You are always given more to do with less to do it. And through this unfairness, we learn honor. We learn that when doing the right thing is the absolute hardest thing to do, we demand you do it. And through that, we learn honor. We teach courage through fear. We expose you to so much fear, so many things outside your comfort zone, so constant that someday when you're charging into machine guns, this is normal. This is what we do. We face fear. It's taught. It is taught through the antithesis. So let's get back to the warrior spirit. What they taught us through all this history, what they know is that character wins in combat. That's what wins. And what we do through our life, through our Marine Corps tradition, through our family, through our lifestyle, through our core values, we constantly train character 24/7. We train it through, we put you in situations that failure is the easiest thing to happen and the hardest thing for you to overcome. We put you in situations that mission accomplishment is the hardest thing to do, and we demand you do it. And we constantly put you outside your comfort zone, and we make you face that fear so constant that we train character 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We train it here in Las Vegas. We train it in 29 Palms. We train it in Afghanistan. We train it in Iraq. We train it on Range 500. We train it everywhere you are as a Marine, all the time. We demand it. Every great philosopher throughout our history, you go all the way back to Aristotle, Sun Tzu, and my favorite, Vince Lombardi. You get in the modern era, they all say the same thing. You are what you do every day. You won't rise to the occasion of combat. You will sink to the level of your training. Whatever you do every day, that is who you are. And as Marines, we demand nothing less than courage, honor, commitment. So, my challenge, moving forward, for those of you who train, those of you who are trainers, etc., challenge each other. Challenge every one of those core values in every training evolution you do. Make success the hardest thing to do. Make your mission, doing the right thing, the hardest thing to do. And put Marines outside their comfort zone. Because we win on Range 500 before we ever get in combat. And for those of you, and I know we got quite a few in your room, that have actually done that steel on target and popped it off an enemy tank, hey, it's worth all the work. Trust me on that. There is no reward you will ever get greater than that. And I'll tell you this as well. Be brilliant at the basics. At the end of the day, everything you do comes down to, can you do that simple skill? We've got a Marine sitting up here at the front table. Master Sergeant Alan Johnson, one of the greatest friends I have in the Marine Corps, one of the greatest friends I have in life. Absolutely, let's give this Marine a hand. Master Sergeant Alan Johnson is one of the greatest Marines I know, one of the greatest tankers I know. But at the end of the day, in a place called Al Coop, he found himself in a palm grove at point blank range with many enemy. And could he get that rifle in his shoulder? Could he sight picture quicker than that enemy could, who were all trying to do it to him? And he did it repeatedly, over and over and over and over, and did it to the point that he got in a close-in HE fight, a grenade fight at pistol range. And because of his actions, that Marine was awarded the Silver Star, and he's in our ranks tonight. All right. Now, don't think I forgot about you who are not on tanks. That seven-headed Hydra. The one thing that we've learned in this war, the enemy's learned real quick, don't mess with the tanks. That's a losing endeavor. So they go after the other stuff. And that's what I'm talking about, be brilliant at basics. The one thing our enemy has found repeatedly over these years is that when they attack those soft-skinned vehicles, we bite back worse than the tanks. So that seven-headed Hydra, that H&S company, motor teeth, scout snipers, all that stuff. Now let me turn my attention to our shipmates. Our shipmates, those Navy corpsmen, those Navy chaplains, I tell you, you won't find a Marine in this room bigger fan of those Navy corpsmen than I am. I tell you, and I'm going to tell you one quick anecdote about that, and I'm going to move out on that one. When I was wounded, I was bleeding out of multiple holes in my head. I was bleeding out pretty quick. Corpsmen were applying pressure dressing. I just thrown up all over these guys. You ever been shot in the head? It makes you very nauseous, it makes you very sick to your stomach. Throwing up all over these guys. And then it felt like they were trying to bury me, trying to put me underneath the earth. I said, what are you doing? And they said, we're being mortar attacked, Gunny. And they were taking off everything in the world that protects them, those Navy corpsmen. Their helmets, their flak jackets, ballistic cloth, everything in the world that protects them, and pounded on my wounded body to give me that slightly better chance of making it. We talk courage, honor, commitment. That's one thing I love about our core values. In the civilian world, they call them intangibles. In our world, they're very tangible. They're close enough to touch. I never seen a wounded Marine didn't have a corpsman run in his direction. And you don't want to be where that wounded Marine is, because wherever he got hit, you can get hit. So to our brothers, those Navy corpsmen, those Navy chaplains, I certainly don't want to leave out a big hoorah for you tonight. Now I hear people give speeches and they always use this word. They use this word, I'd be remiss if I were to forget. That's a weak word. I'm gonna use it. I'd be messed up. And I would use the F word if we didn't have, mixed company in here. I would be messed up if I left out our families on tonight's celebration. Our spouses. There is no tougher breed in our family than those spouses that we take from place to place. Our spouses that give up careers, give up households, give up families. They live thousands of miles from their families, put their careers on hold, start new lives every duty station we take them, and they do it without complaint. They do it to such excellence that our log train chiefs would be jealous of their ability to move and set up households. So to our spouses, and I don't want to leave the best group out, hang on. I don't leave our best group out. Those children of the tank battalion, they don't sign up for this duty. They get thrust into this. They go to different schools. We have the brotherhood. Everywhere we got the brotherhood. Those kids, they got a new school everywhere they go. And they're the new kid. And I tell you, to those little ones who are in the room, and I think there's a couple of them in the room, to those little ones of our tank battalion, I don't use the word hero lightly. Those are little heroes. All right, let's get those families, those little heroes, and hoorah! Okay, finally, I'm going to close on one thing, because I know you didn't come here to hear some has-been flap his gum for 2 hours. So I'm going to be quick. I just want to close on that. I don't have many nuggets of wisdom. I've been hitting the head a lot in my life. So I got one piece, and I'm going to give it to you right here with a little bit of anecdote. When I was in the hospital after I got hit, I was blinded. And my roommate was deafened, so we were pretty crappy roommates. We didn't know a thing about each other. And we had a visitor come in. The assistant commandant of the Marine Corps was coming to visit us. And, voice spoke to me out of the darkness, said, Assistant Commandant's coming in to visit you too. I said, good to go. Where the heck are we going to be? Of course we're going to be here. So we're here. Commandant comes in, he asks me, he says, how you doing, Marine? Good, sir. I'm a gunny. I'm not whining about nothing. I could have been bleeding out my jugular. Good, sir. He goes to this Marine next to me. His name was Corporal Ortiz. I didn't know him from the man on the moon. He was deaf. I was blind. We didn't know anything about each other. He said, how you doing, son? He said, good, sir. Same thing. He's not going to whine. They asked him how he got hit. The general asked him. And he was an infantryman over there in Iraq, and he was on patrol. Marine squad got hit by a sniper in the leg where he was immobile. Not life-threatening, but he couldn't move. So the squad has to go firm. They're working up a medevac because they're not going to do the rest of the patrol route carrying this guy in a fireman's carry. So they got to get him out of there. While they're waiting for the medevac, a hand grenade lands very near this wounded Marine. Everybody's in a safe position, to include my roommate, Corporal Ortiz. When Ortiz leaves his position of safety, the only one in the kill sack is the Marine who can't run, the Marine with the sniper gun. Ortiz goes to him. He does that brilliant at the basic stuff, that training stuff, knocks him down flat to the earth, so he's a small silhouette with this impending grenade blast, puts his body armor facing the grenade, lays on him on top of him, protects him with his own flesh. And the only thing he can't do is shield his own face and neck, just out of body armor to go around. So he's just waiting for this grenade to fuse out, figures I'll just take one for the team. While he's waiting for the grenade to fuse out, that wounded Marine wrestles his arm free and covers Ortiz's face and neck with his own flesh. The grenade blast goes off. There's Ortiz alive in the rack next to me in the hospital. The Assistant Commandant, General Nyland, says, "Oh my God, Marine, that's an amazing story. What happened to the other guy?" And he says, "He's right over there, sir. He was on the other side of me." Marines, I was humbled every day at the Marine that served to my left or my right in this beloved Corps. The quality of Marine that we serve amongst is so great, so constant, so often, that I would challenge you with this. It is so constant that we get to where we stop noticing. So tonight, Marines, recognize that Marine to your left or your right, that Marine that you serve alongside every day, there is greatness in this room beyond imagination. Tonight is night to celebrate that. Celebrate what this tank battalion has done. This battalion has been in the war since the beginning. Marines from this tank battalion liberated 2 nations. We freed 25 million people and still on the watch. When it came time, when others were saying, this is not going to work, it's not a success, it's a failure, your courage, your honor, your commitment at that 04 moment to continue to raise your right hand and say, "I do solemnly swear," to our families to stand beside us and support us through that. There is so much greatness in this room. Marines, I am so honored to be in your presence. You have changed world history on your watch. On your watch, you have carried our Marine Corps' colors gloriously, magnificently. Marines, I'm honored to be in your presence. I am privileged that you've allowed me to celebrate this birthday with you. Happy birthday, Marines. Semper Fi!